Dandelion petals are one of my favourite ingredients to work with. It's a flavour that always features on my tasting menu. They're so beautiful, unique and underused, and so plentiful here in the spring. I'm going to show you how I use these light, delicate aromatic petals to add a bit of magic and a flavour of early morning spring sunshine to my food. Dandelion is a flavour that always features on my tasting menu. At the moment, as I record this, I'm using it as a flavour in the welcome cocktail that I give to guests as they arrive for their evening. It's a gin and tonic with my home distilled gin and homemade tonic, and then the dandelion just gives it a real lift and brightness and a little bit of sunshine. I've used dandelion though in both savoury and sweet dishes, and it's just one of my absolute favourite flavours to work with. I'm going to show you how I make a sweet and sour dandelion infusion, which you can use directly in dishes or in drinks. It's got a really crisp, clear, bright flavour. But first we need to get out and forage for some dandelions. And that's another thing that I love about using these as an ingredient. When it gets to the time of year that I need to go out and collect these and make this infusion, that means I know that we're into the spring, we've come out the other side of winter, things are starting to come alive again, the bees are starting to come out, and there's a bit of life happening again. When you're foraging for dandelions, you want to try and find them in a space that's away from a road, that's not frequented by dog walkers, somewhere that's fairly quiet and undisturbed. I'm picking the heads of the dandelions, but making sure not to take too many from any one area. You want to make sure that you leave plenty for nature. Bees really rely on dandelions as one of the first early forages of the year for them. When you get your dandelions back to the kitchen, you need to separate out the petals. So you can either pick them out by hand or snip them using a small pair of scissors. I'm making quite a big batch here, but I'll give you the recipe for a smaller, more manageable batch. Now to make the dandelion infusion, we're first going to make a sweet and acidic base. I'm going to start by zesting lemons and then juicing them. Then I combine water, sugar, citric acid and the lemon juice and zest and bring this to a simmer. Once it's cooled, we can add the dandelion petals to the base liquid and leave this to infuse at room temperature for 2 days. Once it's infused, we can strain the liquid and it's ready to use, or you can freeze it if you need to store it for longer. The dandelion infusion works really well as a cordial to add to drinks, but also in savoury dishes to add sweet and acidic contrast and a bright floral flavour. Here I'm plating up a dish which I've used on my spring menus in the past. It's tofu which has been slowly confit with kombu, thyme and lemon zest. It's finished with a little bit of apple pickled in blueberry vinegar and dressed with the dandelion infusion. That brings a little bit of acidity and sweetness that contrasts the saltiness of the tofu. I really recommend getting out and picking some dandelions and trying making something like this infusion. It's such a beautiful ingredient, I really don't understand why it isn't used more. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me a like and hit subscribe, and there'll be details of my Patreon in the description if you'd like to see more content from me. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.